What's going to be the hot thing 20 years from now? This is the question that keeps investors, business people, collectors up at night. What do I buy today that's going to have the return of a base set Shadowless Charizard? What are the kids today going to want when they're my age? I think I have some ideas. It might surprise, it might piss a couple people off because you might not agree with me. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Just please do one thing. Don't hit the dislike button and leave. If you dislike the video, that's fine. If you want to hit the dislike button, that's fine too. But please leave a comment and tell me why. Maybe you dislike the video because it looks like I'm recording it in some creepy horror movie's murder room. That's fine, but I have one question for you. If this is what my office looks like, if this is what the room that I have to do most of my work in, like the real business work, what do you think my warehouse and receiving areas look like? That's right. They're immaculate. So yeah, the office, it's a busy place. Things are coming, things are going. Sometimes it gets a little bit messy, but it'll get cleaner. It'll get more dirty. I just don't want to have a set. Everybody on YouTube, everybody in the world has a set in their house now. And that's just not me. I'm not the guy who wants to devote an entire room in their office space, in their building, to having a set. I have a retail store. I have a warehouse space. I have an office. I've got different areas. And they're all being used. I don't have any need for a set. So I want to record videos, and we're going to do it in this office. So back to the original point. What's going to be the hot thing 20 years from now? Well, I don't think it's going to be Pokemon. And I don't think it's going to be Magic the Gathering. I'm sorry. I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but I don't think Pokemon cards, the kids today are going to give two S's about Pokemon cards. I could be wrong, and I hope that I am. If there's a silver lining on that cloud, 20 years from now, guys and gals our age, my age, in our, I would say, late 20s to mid to late 30s, that's kind of the prime demographic, will still care about Pokemon cards, and I'm sure we'll still be trading and buying and selling them in 20 years. So there's a silver lining on that cloud. But I don't think the kids today, my kids, or not the Gen Zers, but the generation after the Gen Zers, the kind of like 14-year-olds, the 10, 12, 13, 14-year-olds now, I don't think they're going to care as much about Pokemon cards. They definitely play Pokemon cards. I definitely interact with real live kids from that age group. So Pokemon cards is definitely a part of their life, but it's not as much as it was when I was a kid or when people my age were a kid. You guys have to remember, when I was a kid, Pokemon was everywhere. It was everywhere, and it was everything. You had the TV show, you had the Game Boy game, you had the card game, and they were massive things. Okay, the Game Boy game was massive. It was the only thing that brought me into the Pokemon TCG to begin with, was the Game Boy game. This new handheld device that you could walk around town with and play video games like in the car when your mom was running errands. And then you had Pokemon Red and Blue. These amazing handheld RPGs. These were huge. These were game changers. And it's what made my generation fall so deeply in love with Pokemon. And the generation nowadays, they just don't have that. Of course, they have the Pokemon Go, and they have their iterations of the Pokemon TV show, and they have their, whatever generation we're on the Pokemon TCG, but it's not that brand new thing that sweeps the culture and just enthralls everybody. It's more or less the generation before them. It's their hand-me-down culture. So it's like listening to your dad's AC/DC album or Steppenwolf record on a turntable, right? It's awesome. It's amazing. Your parents, my parents, probably collected vinyls, and they were amazing. And I love vinyls. I think they're amazing. The bands, great bands, but I don't have near the same affinity for vinyls as my parents' generation does. And moving forward, that's going to be true with Pokemon cards. So the question is what are they going to want? Well, the easy answer is I have no idea, and nobody does. But I'll take a stab at what I think they're going to want. I have 3 girls, so I'm limited in my demographic knowledge to girls. Well, I wish I had, well, for several reasons, I wish I had boys, but I love my girls. That's not what I'm saying. In addition to my girls, I wish I had boys. As far as girls go in 20 years, first, girls aren't huge in the collecting demographic. They exist, and I appreciate every single one of them out there, and I wish there were more. But when it comes to spending dumb amounts of money on shiny cardboard objects, fellas, we really take the cake in that category. We far outpace women. They have their things that they like to collect and their things that they find valuable. But when it comes to shiny cardboard and plastic toys, we outpace them. But let's say that in 20 years, girls will catch up with the fellas in spending stupid amounts of discretionary income on useless shiny cardboard and plastic toys. Shopkins are a huge thing with little girls these days. They're these tiny little facsimiles of branded things that you find in a supermarket. So there'll be like a Breyers, is it Bayers or Breyers ice cream, a tiny little Breyers ice cream with like a little face on it, a little spoon inside of it. There'll be like that brand of pot pie. It's got the tan box with like the green triangle or something. Mix something or anti something, I don't know. But they'll have tiny little pot pies, things, just normal things like Oreos, Tostitos chips, just normal things that you'd find in a supermarket. They have these tiny little versions of them, and they have cute little faces on them, and they come in their cute little boxes. Those are huge. The little girls love those. So in 20 years, if there is a nostalgic push for the toys that the kids nowadays want, I think the little girls are going to gravitate towards things like that. The lull dolls, the surprise dolls, those things are big. Obviously Frozen, but you have to pick your battles when it comes to Frozen, because it's such a saturated market. Trying to pick winners in the Frozen market is going to be really, really difficult. It's something that I probably would stay away from because there's just so much out there. Trying to pick a winner, like what kids are going to want to come back to in 20 years in the Frozen market, you'd have a better luck. I don't know, closing your eyes, sticking your hand in a wishing well and pulling out a quarter instead of a penny. You know what I mean? It would be very, very difficult. But the LOL surprise dolls and the what are those called? The Shopkins. That's a much more targeted niche product. It's much more focused. It's in and of itself an intellectual property, which makes it safe to me. Picking a winner in the Frozen market would be like picking a winner in the Lego market. It's hit or miss. It would probably even be harder. But so that covers girls. I would look for products like that. Tiny little figurines. There's some dolls out there. American Girl dolls are still kind of collectible. There's this German company makes horse dolls that are really, they're kind of expensive. They're really nice, and the kids love them. The girls love them. So look into that. I know that's kind of vague. Maybe in a follow-up video, I'll look up what the name of the company is and drop it. But for boys, I'm a little bit out of my depth in boys, but I do have a guess. And it could be completely wrong. But my guess would be that's behind all the boxes. Fortnite trading cards. Okay, hear me out. They're not hugely popular right now. They do have a little bit of traction and a little bit of following, but they're no Pokemon cards where you just list them on eBay and they sell out in seconds. You know, Pokemon booster boxes or ETBs, You put up a listing on eBay for 200 ETBs on release day, it's gone in an hour. So Fortnite trading cards don't have the huge traction that Pokemon cards do right now, but that's kind of a good thing, because when Pokemon trading cards came out in the 90s, they didn't have much traction. There were people playing them and there were people that loved them, but they were nothing like they are right now. And that is kind of a good thing, because the heat and the traction that Pokemon has right now is a little bit worrisome. I will admit, nothing can keep up this kind of traction for long. I'm not saying that it won't continue to grow and prices won't continue to go up, but the fervor, the fever pitch with which we are seeing in the Pokemon market right now has got to cool down sometime. The S&P 500 can't go to the moon forever. We can't continue to trade stocks at 10 times, EPS. So that's why I like the Fortnite trading cards, because Fortnite is a huge IP with the kids nowadays, boys and some girls. It's huge. You want to find evidence of this? Look up TikTok videos of like Fortnite dance. Search Fortnite dance on YouTube or TikTok. It is almost worrying how many of these little boys are out there doing these friggin' Fortnite dances and posting it to the internet. But that's a discussion for another time. Fortnite's huge. It's massive. But there's nothing inherently collectible about Fortnite like there was with the Pokemon Game Boy game, or with Pokemon in general from my generation. The cards, there were physical objects attached to these things. Like now you can collect and trade and buy and sell. The Pokemon Red and Blue from when I was a kid, they're very expensive, but it's a physical product, a physical object that you can buy and sell. There's nothing like that with Fortnite. It's completely digital. There's no game. It's a digital download. Everything that you buy in the game, the costumes and whatnot, it's all digital. So the question is how are kids who are so in love with Fortnite, which will in 20 years probably not exist anymore, and if it does, it's being run on one guy's server in a room that looks like this, and it's got 10 people playing it. How do kids who are going to be nostalgic for Fortnite relive their Fortnite glory days in 20 years? And my bet is it's going to be the trading cards. The trading cards, if you haven't seen them, they have they're kind of like the sports cards, where they have the basic, like the shininess, the rarity level. They have their blue, purple, and orange rarity level. There's all the characters from inside the game that everybody knows and loves and plays with. And it's something that I could definitely see older adults latching onto if and when they become nostalgic for Fortnite. So we'll see what the kids nowadays gravitate towards when it comes to collecting. Maybe NFTs. I don't really like NFTs, but I'm an old boomer at this point, so it's just something. It took me forever to warm up to cryptocurrency. I'm still not in love with it, but I have accepted it as at least in the interim, a store of monetary value. We'll see about NFTs. I don't think there's much to them. Maybe I'll do a video on NFTs, because I don't hate them completely, but that's besides the point. What are kids nowadays going to gravitate towards? Fortnite, obviously, but beyond that, there's not a lot of physical objects that come to mind when it comes to kids nowadays. Everybody loves Legos. Who knows? Maybe Star Wars Legos. Everybody loves The Mandalorian. Maybe betting on some Mandalorian stuff. But big cultural moments, you just have to keep your eye peeled for these big cultural things that happen and the objects that are associated with them, or that can be potentially associated with them. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. If you disliked the video, you're allowed to hit the dislike button. That's okay with me. But leave a comment. It drives me nuts seeing the dislike and no comment. I want to know what the problem is. Okay. But thanks. And as always, I'll catch you next time.